It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, August 29th, and we are on Friday Eve, the lovely and amazing Friday Eve. I'm so happy to be here with you guys. I hated missing yesterday's live show. In fact, I felt like, a portion of my arm was missing, but mom life called and I had to take my kids to school and I dropped them off and I had their little parent breakfast and I got to see a lot of other parents and do, the mom thing. And now I'm back with you guys. I did do a members only yesterday and we chatted about a bunch of things, but only did we have none of us had any idea the big news that was going to come right on after in the evening, in the early evening, right as I was just trying to digest my dinner. We got the news about Alexis Bellino, no, and Dirty John. We're going to get into all of that and so much more on today's Daily Dose of Donna. Welcome on in, everyone. I see your comments. I see your hellos. I'm glad to see you all here as people are starting to come on in. This has given me vibes of like when you go live on Instagram. Remember the Instagram influencers that they were like, just waiting for people to come on in. Just waiting. I'm just going to wait for people to come on in. And then I remember we went through a whole period where people said, don't ever say I'm waiting for people to come on and just go live and go straight to it. Well, I am very excited to see you guys here. Hey, Stacy, she says, I love your show. I mean, we have people from Texas. I see you, Marla, Morgan. I see everyone. Welcome to you guys. Thank you for being here. And then also tomorrow, Friday, we're doing our happy hour this month, our Patreon happy hour. I try to do one once a month. And tomorrow will be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And we are going to hang out on Zoom, bring a cocktail, bring a coffee, bring a snack. I like snacks. This is what I was snacking on this morning. Family size Chex Mix. Probably not the best for me, but I was really craving that salty crunch, And I wanted to eat on the feed with you guys. And then I realized maybe all of you struggle with misophonia like me. Did you guys see that article that I showed on my Instagram stories a couple weeks back or a couple days ago? I thought this was like a joke. I couldn't believe that this was actually an article. Like I want to say it was on, I don't know, was it on People magazine or something? It was about how, I think it was her name is Melissa Gilbert. Is it Melissa Gilbert? Am I making that up? Yeah. Melissa Gilbert reveals she has neurological disability misophonia. And allegedly, Bethany Frankel's TikToks created them. Just kidding. That's not in the article. But she definitely cannot be on TikTok because if she's on TikTok, she'll go crazy. I literally just had to close off my TikTok because you don't understand. Let's see if the video is still even on there. I thought I was going to die. I was like, wait, this is on my feed and why? Check this out. This is literally on my feed. If only you heard the sounds. This is a username. She's a user named Jelly Bean Sweets. She is doing a Taco Bell mukbang. She's eating 2 burritos in 4 minutes as if that's like a prize. Now, if you're not listening, I mean, if you're not watching, then you can't see what I'm watching. But I can't even play the volume because it's so vomitous. It's so scary that people actually 847,000 likes on this video. People really enjoy watching people eat, like majorly eat. So anyway, Melissa Gilbert said she has misophonia And this is so crazy because she says it's a dark and difficult part of her childhood. The Little House of the Prairie actress sobbed when she learned that her intense reactions to sounds like chewing and clapping were due to a real treatable condition. You know what's so weird is when I posted this on my Instagram stories that everyday noises like the sounds of chewing, popping gum, nails clicking, even hands clapping would provoke her to anger. I'm not joking. I think I struggle from this to an extent. I imagine there's a spectrum of misophonia. My sister and I always struggle because when we talk like to our mom on the phone, if she's chewing, like, "Ooh, we want to die. We want to die. We want to run away." I can't eat on the phone with people. If they're eating on the phone with me, I cannot handle it. If my Lance, if Lance my husband Lance, if he's if he's snacking on chips, if he's chewing gum, even if he's eating like ice cream with a crunch in it, I can't handle it. My kids don't affect me as much, but they're starting to as they're getting older. And you know what's really interesting is that when I went to post this on my Instagram stories, so many people responded that not only do they have it, but a lot of you guys have kids who have it, which I thought was so interesting. So many people have kids who can't even eat in the same room as their family. I don't know. It's such a crazy thing. Why are we so sensitive to it? Now, I understand chewing, slurping, snotting, like the snot sounds and like the coughing, like all that kind of stuff. I can see why that can gross people out. What's interesting to me is how some people can't handle finger tapping. Lori says the finger tapping on everything is like nails on a chalkboard. Crackling knuckles, Anne-Marie says makes you want to vom. Oh my gosh, I crack my knuckles. Just one. I'm just constantly going like, okay, I'm not gonna do it for you guys. I'll tell you the grossest thing I ever saw. And then we'll move on because like who wants to start their day this way? But we went I went to the car wash once. And when you sit at the car wash, you're sitting outside waiting for your car to be cleaned. I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I hear like click, click, click. And I look over and a man is clipping his toenails in public next to me. Click, click, click. I thought I was going to die. Okay, you guys, you guys are cracking me up in the comments about all of your thoughts. I try very hard not to eat or drink during the show. If I have to take a sip of water, it's just because I talk a lot and my mouth gets dry. Sorry. I try to move away from the mic for those moments. Um, oh my gosh, you guys have so many issues just like us. You know what? We're all the same at the end of the day. I'm convinced 99.9% of marriages end in divorce because of misophonia. Forget religion, forget sex, forget money, forget adultery. It's because of misophonia, because at some point, every sound that your spouse makes you want to die. Sometimes I'll be laying in my bed, which is upstairs with the door closed, watching my show. And Lance is downstairs. I'm at cinema 2. I call it cinema 2, and he's in cinema 1 downstairs. So he's watching like, I don't know, what does he watch? Like he'll be watching something like I don't know, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, one of those types of shows, or a Cubs game or whatever. He's watching a show downstairs. I'm upstairs watching, what I watch. Let's be real. And all I can hear is what he's eating downstairs. I can hear the chips crunching in his mouth. I go crazy. I send him texts. Do you have to eat so loud? He's like, what? Oh my gosh, it's the misophonia dosers. This is your daily dose of misophonia. We're the support group, the misophonia support group. All right, let's move on over to some of our stories. Before we get into that, let's talk about something that does not deal with misophonia, but it does help your hair, and that is LOLAVIE. This show is sponsored by LOLAVIE, and that is Jennifer Aniston's hair care products. Here is Jennifer showering again. I just need you guys to always see her shower. LOLAVIE is an award-winning hair care line, and it is derived from high-quality ingredients that also are natural. And the technology constructs a new protective cuticle around the hair where damage begins to keep it healthy and looking its best. So it's really good for any sort of aging or damage on the hair. I'll tell you guys after I talk about LOLAVIE, a TikTok that I just saw about hair, and I found it was really interesting. If you guys are interested in getting products, a whole line of products, as you can see, the bottles, the packaging, it's very, very beautiful and clean and modern and sleek. And I actually think that's a big, important thing. Um, Functionality of your hair care products when you're in the shower. Like, you don't think about this that often, maybe, but certain products that you get are like impossible to open, or it's impossible to get things out of it, or the squeezer doesn't work. I mean, it's such a pain in the butt, but LOLAVIE's products all really look good, they smell good, and they work really well. So if you want 15% off your LOLAVIE order, go to lolavie.com. That's LOLAVIE.com and use code DANA15. That's DANA 15 for 15% off your order at lolavie.com. Now, going from a good hairline, LOLAVIE, we have to talk about this one TikTok I saw that covered Blake Lively's hair care line. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to find the TikTok, but Blake Lively, as you guys know, during this entire It Ends With Us, press moment, she debuted her new hair care line, which is, it didn't necessarily go over well because, yes, she has pretty hair, but this was a movie about domestic violence and about relationships and all those things. So Blake Brown is the name of the company, and a lot of people started to review it and put it on, their videos or whatever. But this morning I saw a video that was pretty viral, and it was, I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but this person reviewed Blake Lively's hair care line and said it was probably one of the worst hair care lines they've ever tried. She has curly hair. She's like, I literally feel like it sucked every ounce of moisture out of my hair. Not only that, she said that it was absolutely um, impossible to open. Like, she couldn't get her hands through into the product. It would fall all over. It was big. The packaging was bad, and et cetera, et cetera. So not only, I mean, Blake Lively really can't catch a break right now, you guys, in any capacity, right? I feel like she is, who would you say is having the worst year? Or like the worst month? I would say Blake Lively is having pretty much the worst month in the entertainment world. Wouldn't you say that? Um, yeah, Lori says, "Oh my gosh, the Blake Lively bottle is ridiculous for her shampoo." Let's look at Blake Brown hair care. Let's look at pictures of it. Yeah, you guys, it's really so weird. Let me share it with you so you can see the bottles of it. Now, you have to remember, this is not just for looks. This has to be something that you have in your shower that you're using on a regular basis. Explain. Look at that. This is the shampoo bottle. Oh, it doesn't get good reviews on Target.com. $18.99 for the shampoo on Target. Um, this is the nourishing mask. I mean, it looks like some sort of, I don't know, I guess she wanted to do this. She wanted to make it look like, they all fit together almost like a puzzle, but none of it makes sense. It's really like, and it takes up so much space. Not all of us have, bathrooms with shelves in our showers that, have the space for 46 feet of products. Like, shampoo and conditioner should be skinny-ish bottles that can go right next to each other. Like, that's it, with pumps on the top. Done and done. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. Yeah, it looked like honeycomb. That's so interesting. It was a little too much. It needs its own shelf. It needs its own bathroom. The truth is, you can only get Blake Brown beauty if you have 46 bathrooms, like, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds do. J-Lo is also having a really bad year. I agree, Beth. I mean, it's interesting. Both J-Lo, Blake Lively, a few other people. I'm sure we can think of more. You know who's having a bad day? Matt Lauer. We haven't talked about Matt Lauer in a long time, but I saw this story and I was like, wow, this just kind of passed right by us. No one talked about this. But Matt Lauer, who hasn't really been in the news at all, ever since he got fired from the Today Show for the Me Too craziness. And the only real like talking of Matt Lauer I feel like I did was when we were talking about the morning show and season 1. But I was just on page 6 the other day and I saw this article and I was like, wow, we haven't talked about Matt Lauer in forever. And then this is the article that comes out. And basically it says Matt Lauer's daughter, Romy, crashed into a Hamptons fence and fled the scene, but left her license plate behind for the cops to find. It's one of those stories that you're like, "Oh my god, what a dumb, dumb move on their daughter." But Romy is let me find out. She's 20 years old. She crashed her car into a fence and a sign in the Hamptons on July 4th weekend. But the college student left her license plate behind at the scene for local cops to find. I'm just gonna guess. I mean, this is totally alleged, but I'm just gonna guess there was probably some sort of substance involved. You're crashing into a sign and a fence and um what's it called, license plate falls off your car and you flee the scene without even picking it up. It's a bad look. In case you guys wanna see how she looks, she's like she's a very pretty young woman. She's 20 years old. This is her. She's definitely a college girl if you look at her pictures. Lots of posing, you know? They were out on July 4th, according to social media, and a ticket was issued. A local powerhouse attorney is currently involved in the case and resolved this for Miss Lauer. A source tells us that around 4 a.m. the morning of July 5th, a 911 call was made about a crash on North Sea Mecox Road by a concerned neighbor who had heard a loud noise and was worried someone was hurt. When police arrived, we're told a fence and a sign were down, but the driver took off and left their license plate in the aftermath. You guys, it was 4 a.m. on July 5th. I'm assuming she wasn't sober. I don't know. I don't know, you guys. Am I being crazy to assume that? Anyway, now you guys remember that Matt Lauer and his wife have divorced since the whole Me Too drama, and they're dealing with this. But I'm sure it's like it's just a story you don't want to hear about your kid, right? Maybe she didn't get out of the car and see the plate out of the ground. Yeah, I don't think she actually got out of the car and like tried to leave a note for the sign and the fence. She probably crashed and said, "Holy F, I'm getting the F out of here." Drove home, passed out. Next morning was like, "Oh my God, I don't have my license plate." And by that point, it's over, Um, okay, let's keep it going. Another story that I thought was interesting, Nikki Glaser. I actually really like this story. Nikki Glaser is hosting the Golden Globes. I'm all about a good new host for the Golden Globes and for the Emmys, and I'm super excited about the Emmys host this year. I don't know if we talked about it on the show, but Dan Levy and Eugene Levy from Schitt's Creek, of course, are going to be co-hosting the Emmys this year. And I don't think there's a world where those two can't be funny. I'm convinced that these two will be hysterical. And Nikki Glaser, who I really like. I mean, didn't Nikki Glaser, don't you think that she was so funny during the Tom Brady roast? I mean, that was really Nikki Glaser was famous before, but I feel like that Tom Brady roast that just aired on Netflix a few months ago was so like her moment to shine. And after that, she did all these different interviews. And, there's really not a lot of negative stuff about Nikki Glaser out there. And most likely, whenever you sign on to do an award show, you basically put yourself in the line of fire because people watch these award shows ready and excited to hate on any of the hosts. But I hope that she'll be funny and people can lighten up and not be so serious and not take everything too personally because she is definitely going to make some, under the belt type of jokes, just knowing the personality that she is. And I look forward to seeing that. So I don't know the dates of the Golden Globes and of the Emmys, but they're usually at the beginning of the year, right? I feel like they're usually like right before the Oscars. And the Oscars, let's see, Emmys 20. 24? Oh, no, they're soon. They're September 15th are the Emmys. So that's in 2 weeks. Golden Globes is that will be next year, I'm pretty sure. It's 2025 Golden Globes, January 5th. So we have a couple fun award shows coming up. And I like award shows. Like for me, award shows, especially the Emmys and the Golden Globes, whenever it's TV and film, etc., like that feels like my Super Bowl. I really enjoy it. When it's just film, the Oscars to me are a little boring, to be honest. They're a little too stuffy. I like the Golden Globes because everyone gets to drink and sit at the round tables and have fun. And actually, I've told you guys this story probably 7,000 times, but I'll tell you again. The room where the Golden Globes were held is the same room that I had my high school prom, Beverly Hills High School, year class of 1999. Yeah, I was class of 1999. I graduated high school in 99. I graduated college in 03. Beverly Hills High School, class of 99, had prom at the Beverly Hills Hilton in that same room. And then coincidentally, I also won my best casting award. I don't have it here. It's in the other room. My best casting award for Sweet Life on Deck in that same room a few years later. And my parents got married at the Beverly Hilton also back in 1979. That marriage lasted a solid 2 years. It was a winner. Good luck, Nikki Glaser. I think it's time that we get to the big, meaty stories today, and that is Alexis Bellino and Brittany Cartwright. One is married, one is getting married, and one is getting divorced. And I think we can all agree that we would rather be Brittany Cartwright or be in Brittany Cartwright's shoes than Alexis Bellino. No, because Alexis Bellino is quite possibly the most challenging, difficult, and are we allowed to say unlikable? I want to say that there is not anyone on any of these housewife shows in this day and age right now who is as unlikable as Alexis Bellino. Am I crazy? Am I nuts? Alexis Bellino to me is so hard to watch. She's nails on it. She's my version of misophonia. A lot of people struggle with chewing and nails on a chalkboard. She's my version. She's so unlikable. She's so obnoxious. She's only on that show for one reason and one reason only. And I can't decide, am I more mad at Alexis Bellino or the producers for bringing her on or Tamra for and I guess Heather Dubrow for accepting her and bringing her into the fold. I can't decide which one I don't like more. Now, Alexis Bellino, if you go back and watch any old episodes of Housewives of OC, I want to say it's like season 6 or 5 or something when Alexis Bellino was on the show. She was so unlikable and so difficult to watch even then. This is not new. This is not about Johnny J. This is not about, even Shannon. She was hard to watch from the moment that woman stepped on our show. Back when she's like a version, in my opinion, I think Alexis Bellino is the kind of person that takes on the personality of whoever she's dating, right? So with Jim Bellino, she was like a church loving, remember Jesus jugs, right? Church loving, fancy schmancy type of kind of showy type of person. Then now when she's with what's it called? When she's with Dirty John, she's like, yeah, I'm like a boat girl. I'm like a boat girl. And we're just like fun. We have so much fun. Johnny J and I'm fun Lexi and he's Johnny J. And we have so much fun. Well, they officially announced their engagement with this picture on Instagram. Let's look at it together. She turned off comments. Are you shocked by that, by the way? Are you shocked that Alexis Bellino turned off the comments on her post about it? She was probably scared. Let's be real. She was probably scared that she was going to get hated on which I think she would, right? Um, really fast, Josh is asking, why do we call her Jesus Jugs? And I want to share with you guys because I did get, stop it. I talked about this on my members only. I follow on Instagram. I follow a foundation that fosters and rescues dogs. And it was the first thing that just popped up on my feed. And I'm dead. This dog's name is Beyonce. I'm just going to show it to you. And then we're going to search up Alexis together. But like, you all need to see Beyonce. Or are you kidding me? An 8-week-old pity mix? Look at Beyonce. Oh my God. Okay, let's search Alexis together. I don't believe that I follow her. No, I don't. Here we go. She turned off comments. It says on cloud 9, celebrating 9 months of love and laughter and looking forward to my forever with you. Every moment together has been a gift. I am so in love with you and the beautiful life we're building together with our kids. And the answer is 1,000,000% yes. And then she posted 1 Corinthians 13:13, and now these 3 remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Hashtag gift from my mom. What does that mean? Was the ring a gift from her mom? Of course, then she posted the article about this on People because nothing they do is not for press and for the love and for all of that. Now, I just want you guys to pay attention. This is 3 hours ago. Oh, no, this was posted 17 hours ago on People. And the comments, and this is very interesting. I always like to look at the comments really fast. But the comments on this are interesting because Lucy on the Ground, who's a great person to follow, by the way, she says, "Bravo, don't you dare think about putting one camera near that wedding," has 3,000 likes. But then Tamra Judge's congratulations only has 7 likes. I can't think, other than these 7 people who liked that comment by Tamra, I can't think of anyone that is happy about this or excited for them or supportive of this union, right? I mean, every single comment is negative. Wedding to be funded by Shannon Bedore. Oh, that's good. How to fund the ring and the wedding. Number 1, sue Shannon. Number 2, people announcement. Oh, talk to me in 5 years, Vicky Gumbelson. This person says, "Bravo, read the room. Every single comment on this thread is negative. We did not ask for and do not want these bottom feeders on our TV's team, Shannon." Now, you guys know I'm really not a fan of like massively negative comments, but when you're a shitty person on a TV show and in real life, let's be real, uh, how can you not expect to get it back? Alexis did not go onto Real Housewives of OC this season with the goal of unifying with Shannon, with the goal of being friendly with the cast, with the goal of coming in and just being the fun Lexi, woohoo. No, she came in on the show with one goal only, to be the villain. Well, I don't know if she thinks she's the villain, but to be anti-Shannon, to try to take down Shannon and to like be Team Tamra. And I have no idea. Like, I'm actually curious, did Alexis Bellino think when she signed on to do this season and started filming, do you think she thought in that Big Bear scene where she was like hanging out with Tamra and Jen and Katie and they were doing the licking of the feet, OnlyFans content, talking about how, my gloves are off with Johnny J. Do you think there's a world where she actually thought the audience is going to be on my side? Like, seriously, do you believe that she thought, of course they're going to hate Shannon? Because Shannon, I truly believe that they went into this season, Tamra and Alexis Bellino went into the season knowing in their minds Shannon is going to be hated. Shannon drove drunk. Shannon is going to be the one that is going to come in here and is going to get a really bad edit and people are going to be very mad at her. And I think that they are flabbergasted to see how it's been edited. And maybe in truth, in real life, it's not this way. But the show is clearly pushing a narrative, whether it's the editing or whatever, where it seems like Shannon is actually the heart and soul of the show. Like, we're feeling for Shannon. We're seeing her cry. We're seeing her talk to her dad. We're seeing moments of her talking to her daughters. Like, you have no choice in this season but to root for Shannon. There's absolutely no one that I know, maybe other than Tamara and probably Teddy. I should ask Teddy. I don't think anyone is, unless you've always hated Shannon and like will not like Shannon, if you watch this season on a standalone, I think you'd have to be team Shannon, which is tough, you know? Marla says they must be paying Alexis a lot of money, and I think actually they could pay her 0 and she would do the show. She seems like someone that would just be excited just to be on TV. Ooh, Kat says I wish everyone hated Shannon. It's not fair that Shannon isn't getting a bad edit. Ooh, why do you feel that? I'm so interested. Why do you want people to hate her? Now, I understand what she did was very, very bad. I in no way believe that she should be given a pass for the drunk driving. And how she's acted in the past has not been great. But I do believe she actually is just someone that is struggling severely and maybe has not come to a moment where she is like fully self-realized. Maybe now she is. Maybe over time she will. Maybe she needs another experience alcohol related to teach her that like it really doesn't work well for her body. You know what I thought Gina said on the show was really interesting. Gina said, um I didn't have an alcohol, no, she said, "I had an alcohol problem. I wasn't addicted, but I had a problem with it." And she said, "The DUI didn't make me stop drinking. The DUI was one moment in the process. After that, I started to realize that I had an alcohol problem." So, I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me that just feels like she will come to a conclusion hopefully on her own. Okay, back to Kat's comment why she wishes Shannon was having a bad season. She says because she's a constant victim talking bad about her ex. She was wasted the entire relationship and blamed John. Alexis did nothing wrong. Kat, I'm worried. Okay, there's a few people that agree with you. Drunk driving, they should have pulled her off the show for that. Shannon is selfish. There's a few comments back to back that feel this way. I think two things can be true. Honestly, I think two things can be true. I think people can make horrendous mistakes and do very bad things. And they're not forever and always a bad person. Does that make sense? I don't know. I think that there's no way Alexis did nothing wrong in this moment, in my opinion. Alexis did nothing wrong by dating Johnny J. She could, I can't believe I called him that. I think Alexis Bellino dating John Janssen on its own separately is fine. Shannon and Alexis were never friends. They never hung out. Alexis never hung out with John and Shannon together. There's no girl code there. So I would be totally fine with John Janssen and Alexis Bellino being together, being engaged, being married, having 46 kids, like whatever. Go off into the sunset and do your thing. However, for me, I think that it is a moment, in my opinion, I feel like the problem here is the rubbing it in Shannon's face. The problem is coming onto something that is Shannon's domain, Shannon's world, throwing it in her face, talking about their sex life. There is the door, Shannon Bedore, being so loud, proud, and out like over the top about your relationship with someone's ex when they're already so low, when they're obviously so broken over it. It feels effed. So Alexis did nothing wrong by dating John, but she did wrong by coming on the show and rubbing it in Shannon's face. And now what feels like extortion, blackmail. I have these videos, pay me $75,000, and how we're all just like on the show or watching the show and just like part of this experience. And then Tamara, I mean, Tamara's out there talking about the videos, talking details about the videos. It's pretty shitty. It's all pretty shitty. Um, yeah, Michelle says a good point. Then if we pulled Shannon for the DUI, then so many of the people should have been pulled. Luann, Karen from Potomac, Gina, Marisol, they've all had DUIs and probably more. You can't pull someone off the show for a mistake like that unless you do it across the board. Now, if you're abusive, if you get, you know, arrested for some sort of violent behavior, maybe that's different, I mean, I don't know. It has to be an across the board type of situation. I also think that it's really, really interesting, about the drinking. None of us were there. None of us were behind the scenes with Shannon and John's relationship. I've seen enough on the show and on paparazzi shots and word on the street and boots on the ground that I believe Shannon does or did drink very heavily in those years. And I believe she didn't do it alone. I think David Bador drank with her too. I think she has a lot of friends that she parties with. And I think her boyfriend, John Janssen, was a drinker. Maybe not as heavily as her, but I don't feel like John was sitting there soberly drinking his Lipton iced tea while she was pounding vodka by the glass. Usually in relationships, unless, it's a huge part of their relationship. So, like, unless a big part of their storyline was Johnny J going to Shannon and saying, "Shannon, you got to stop drinking," which we never heard. We never heard John Janssen tell Shannon to stop drinking because I think John Janssen was probably drinking with her. A lot of these people, when you're going through something, when you're when you are part of bad behavior, whether it's drinking, whatever, I think that most people choose people that kind of make them feel better about their decisions, people that they can do it with, you know? Um, like if I feel like going out for drinks on a Saturday night, I'm probably going to choose a friend that wants to go out for drinks, right? Like, I'm not going to go out with my friend who, by choice, if I want to go to a bar to have a couple cocktails. I mean, this is so hard to even like put out there because I don't have that life anymore. But I'm thinking like when I was in my 20s, if I was single and I wanted to like go out and meet guys and like go to a bar and have drinks, I probably wasn't going to like invite my one friend who wasn't drinking and was pregnant. You know what I mean? Like you invite people, you spend time with people who kind of validate your behavior or engage in your behavior. I don't believe that John Jansen was like a sober, like hardly drinker type of guy. I think he was a major, major drinker. Um, yeah, interesting. You guys, look, a lot of you guys have your thoughts about this. I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's one way or the other. I think you can be two things. I think Shannon can be very challenging. I've thought this for years about Shannon. I do think that there's a little bit of a problem there. I mean, I'm not one to call someone an alcoholic. That's for her to do. I believe that she does use she admits it, right? She uses alcohol in excess when she's going through tough times, and unfortunately, Shannon is constantly in a tough time. Like, Shannon has had a tough time since the show started, right? Think about it. Even season 1, even when things were still good with David Bador, they weren't good with David Bador, right? Things were bad her first season on the show, season 9. I want to say it's season 9. I can't remember which one was her first season. And I was just watching it the other day when she's in the kitchen and she's cooking and David Bador comes home from work and he's eating his chips and she's giving him a hard time about the chips. Like, they didn't have this amazing loving relationship from the get. And in that first episode that she's ever in, her daughters are young. They're like, 11, 10. And it's like on a, on a, hold on one second. Sorry. She's always in she was like pouring herself a glass of vodka on a Tuesday night when she was talking to the kids about doing their homework. David wasn't drinking. I think that this has always been something Shannon has done. I'm not saying it's right, but this is just my thought. A lot of you guys have very strong opinions, but this is how I look at all these reality shows. We see things through our lens of life experience, right? I have an alcoholic father and I have a divorced parents and I've dealt with A, B, and C in my life. So I see things in certain ways. Some people that watch the show have had narcissistic exes or abusive exes or maybe drinking problems of their own or whatever. Oh my God. What is going on? We got to get these people out of here, Josh. There's some people that are coming into the comments. Woo! I think for me, I look at it from my lens, and I think you guys look at it from your lens. So if you had maybe a person in your life who is very, a big drinker, an ex, for example, who was a big drinker and who used to fight with you all the time and cause problems and start things and then tell their friends about it and whatever, maybe you're looking at Shannon as like, you're the problem. But then if you are someone who's had a boyfriend like a John Janssen and I mean, I think there's really a few different stories. I think there's a few different stories. And I believe truly that Shannon is probably, unless she fully changes, always going to find herself in the midst of the drama. But that being said, Alexis Bellino is a hard pass for me. I don't wanna watch her on my show. I would be really upset if Bravo continues to highlight her and John's relationship. I imagine that Bravo is getting the feedback. If you watch any comments, if you read anything, if you see any TikToks and stuff, you'll see that most people are team Shannon. I know that Tamra, for example, feels frustrated because she feels like Shannon is given this great edit, and she's actually just like this perpetual victim. I also hear a lot of people from you guys feeling like, you know, feeling like, Shannon is so frustrating to deal with as a friend. If she was an actual problem drinker, if she was calling you, drunk every night, yelling about her ex-boyfriend, if she had these fights that paralyzed her, it's so frustrating to see them kind of spiraling and going into a hole. These are people that you would cut out in your normal life. Like, have you ever had those friends that are just one big ball of drama that have nothing that they bring positive to your life? They're constantly negative. They party too much. They get themselves in trouble. They're falling all over. You have to carry them into their beds. It's giving Sonia Morgan vibes. Those kinds of people, you usually cut them out of your lives. You can't cut these people out of your lives if you're on a TV show with them. It's tricky. It's very, very tricky. Um, okay. So, okay. I'm not going to get into it with one of the comments. I can't believe people think bullying Alexis is okay. This is the comment. Of course, more people are team Shannon. She's a victim. Okay. I think, in my opinion, I think no one is bullying anyone. What is bullying? I mean, I'm not going to Alexis's room and bullying her in front of her face. I think Alexis has a lot of friends on the show. She's being invited to all the events. She's in Palms, Big Bear. She's hanging out with Tamara. She's friends with these people. She's not getting bullied by anyone. But when you exhibit shitty behavior in front of our faces, like, don't gaslight the audience to believing that you're this like perfect person. She isn't a perfect person. She's got a lot of issues, and she's kind of a jerk. Like, her personality is kind of an asshole. And I think that if you are watching the show and you don't in any way feel for Shannon, put yourself in Shannon's shoes. Imagine your ex-boyfriend who you were madly in love with. It was a very unhealthy, toxic relationship, but madly in love with. And then he broke your heart over and over and over again, because clearly that's what happened with Shannon. And then he started dating someone else who's now on your show and rubbing it in about how much sex you're having. I can't imagine any of you guys would be like, "Aw, she's a good one, that new girlfriend." No, you would hate her. You would absolutely hate her. It's just the way, Um, yeah. I don't love that kinda energy. And yeah, let's not go after each other in the comments, guys. Okay, let's keep it light and tight. Light and tight. Just like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. We've got a lot of strong opinions today. Um, should we move on? I think we should move on for a moment. We should move on to Brittany Cartwright. Jax Taylor is apparently moving stuff out of his house. Now, I saw this one video or picture on, I don't know, one of these websites where I was like, this is not him moving out of his house. He literally had like a box of Amazon packages and 3 t-shirts. I was like, I don't think he's moving out of his house. However, I did see another picture where he did carry a little bit of a like a box with some stuff in it. I have no idea. I don't think Jax Taylor is moving out of his house. I don't know who's coming up with that. However, I do believe that at some point, this situation needs to calm down in terms of like the Airbnb and the house. They have this house that they bought together in Valley Village. As far as we know, Brittany Cartwright put down 50% at least, I believe, of the deposit for this house. She is definitely a strong portion of the homeowner. And a lot of people like to say that she is actually the breadwinner. Now, in January, she decided to get up and leave because his ass wouldn't leave. And she said that very clearly on the show many times on her podcast. She said, I wasn't happy with the way Jax was acting. I didn't like the way he was handling everything. And I got up and left because he wouldn't leave, which makes me want to vomit. But at the same time, I also understand, like, if you're not happy with your partner, I hate to say this, but I do understand why Jax wouldn't leave because from what I know, I think Brittany just felt like frustrated and angry with Jax at that time and felt like I can't do this anymore unless you change. And he probably was like, well, I'm fine. Like, I'm okay right now in this marriage and this relationship. And she was like, well, I need to leave to show you that how serious I am that I'm not gonna sit around and take this treatment. So I got that. But now that she's actually filed for divorce, which sounds like she looks and seems very light and happy that she actually has finally done what we've all been waiting for her to do for a long, long time. Now that she's filed, I would imagine that either they have to sell the house or maybe she'll move back into the house with her son and get out of the Airbnb and he'll have to move out and find something else. So in my opinion, I really do believe that she is going to be so much better off without him. I think she's going to feel so much more confident. I think she's going to like herself a lot more. I think Jax is an exact experience. Like a personality of Jax is like the kind of guy that keeps you down, right? There's certain people that, you know how they always say, like, you want to be with someone who you aspire to be more like, who makes you a better person, who builds you up, et cetera, et cetera. I think Jax was the opposite. I mean, we saw it in front of our faces. He talked down to her. He made her feel bad about herself. He didn't want to have sex with her. They never had sex, which is just very, very um, alarming for like a young couple, right? It's not like they've been married for 45 years. They never had sex. They didn't have a strong relationship where they were good for each other. It sounded to me like she's a people pleaser, I think, from what we've seen. And she seems to me like a really nice person and just wanted so hard for a traditional marriage to work out because it's probably what she was raised with and what she knows. And thank the Lord that she was able to see that Jax was not the one. He was not the one. He was never the one. Note to self and every other person out there, when you're dating someone and then engaged to someone, and on every single step of your relationship, they F up majorly, majorly, not small things like they forgot to call you back or they forgot to pick up, the tide from the market, like major, major F ups, like cheating on you. Maybe, just maybe, you don't walk down the aisle. Just a thought. Just a thought. Just watching Jax on the Valley last season, I couldn't believe that this was how he was in real life on a TV show, knowing cameras were filming him. The way he talked to her, the way he talked down to her, the way he was like frustrated about the son and the crying. I think that everything is going to be so much better. I think he's going to go off. He's going to hook up with 15 young women all at once, if not every other day. He's going to be the new, Tom Schwartz, Tom Sandoval type guy. He's going to be at his bar hooking up with chicks. She's going to be continuing to probably make money, get brand deals. She'll obviously be doing the Valley. Hopefully she gets the podcast. I can't imagine they're doing the podcast anymore together. Hopefully she continues to make money, do well, and I'm sure her mom will move in with her full time if she hasn't already, and they'll be taking care of their little sweet cruise. And that's it. That's it. I think it's a really, really good move for Brittany, and I'm glad it happened. And it should have happened years ago, but unfortunately, it didn't. But at least they had their kid together. And Jax is going to be one of those people, unfortunately, I think, that is just never going to be able to grow up. Talk about someone that never changes. He went away to treatment. I would really like to see how changed he is now. Very curious to see exactly how changed he is. at the end of that experience. Yeah, Jax and Sandoval should open a bar together called, DB, douchebags. Like, hey, let's go get some burgers and brats and douchebags tonight. We'll have to see. Her mom is not living in California, but she comes out and visits a lot. And I think she spends like an entire month here and there. So hopefully it works out. I think it will actually be a very good, cute relationship. And, good for Cruz to have grandma around, hopefully. Is Britt's mom married? Yeah, I think she is. I don't know. Okay, let's keep moving because we have to talk about Sneex. And this is something that I brought up in my Instagram stories yesterday, and I realized from my DMs, wow, you guys all feel the exact same way. We need to talk really fast. This is not celebrity pop culture. This is a major, I want to say a major mistake in the fashion world, and I need you guys to tell me if I'm wrong. Sneex. What are Sneex? Sneex is a new shoe wear line created by one of my favorite entrepreneurs to follow. I love her so much. Her name is Sarah Blakely. She created Spanx. If you remember, she used to be on Oprah. She used to talk about, she goes on all kinds of shows and talks about her entrepreneurial journey and how she created Spanx from nothing and how she really funded that whole project and got, funding, and I think eventually sold it. I don't even know. She's an incredible woman. She's married also to an incredible man. His name is Jesse Eitzler. He's also an entrepreneur, an author, a speaker. He a big owner of sports teams. They have kids together. I really like them. And a few weeks ago, she hinted that she was coming out with a product, which we kind of all assumed was a shoe, where she said it's going to change the game. It's going to change the game for comfort. And remember, she took Spanx and created Spanx because she didn't like the fact that there was no like girdles or like shapewear that was comfortable, that worked well with all the clothes, that had the right colors and consistency. And Spanx really changed the game. I mean, I think Skims is around because of Spanx. Like all of these companies started from Spanx. So she is a pioneer. Guys, this is the shoe. This is the shoe that got announced last week or 2 weeks ago on, I think she was on Good Morning America or something like that. And when I tell you, I almost fell over. I thought it was a joke. I really did think it was a joke. This was it. This is the shoe. If you can't really tell, we're talking a sneaker with a heel on it. Yes, I'm not joking. This is the shoe. She has the Blake, the icon. The Blake again in various colors. The Tepper, that's her daughter's name. Guys, if you're not watching, you need to immediately go and watch and Google Sneex. They are tennis shoes with a heel on them. When I saw this, I thought it was a joke because I thought to myself, there's absolutely no way that this was the invention when she thought to herself, how can I create a shoe that is comfortable to wear, but also fancy enough for meetings? Because there's nothing about this that is fancy. I would like to see someone wearing this with a dress to a fancy event. On her Instagram, she posted a video about this. And I have to say, I really do, like I said, I really do like her. And I really do want her to succeed. And when you're wearing jeans and these heels and you're throwing out the first pitch, it's kind of cute. Kind of cute, right? It kind of looks so cute in this moment. But when you think about why you created these shoes, because you wanted a shoe that also could be fancy, I just couldn't wrap my head around it. Here, watch the video with me. Oh, music playing. I'm not going to have the music playing, but it's her talking about, like, this is when she was showing her husband the prototype.
Whoa. Those are sick. Those are so
you can't see
badass.
This is before.
Sarah, these are sick.
I know.
Okay, These are sick. They say 2 weeks ago, these are sick. I'm so excited. These are so sick. And then they came out and I said, what? I'm sorry, what? Here, watch this.
High heel since I started wearing them. I'm always interested in industries where comfort is not exactly a priority.
If you look at my shoes, I just don't want you to tell me, oh my God, it looks so comfy. That's not a thing that I would take as a compliment.
So, okay, she's talking about how she has to take Advil and a shot of tequila just to get through one night of wearing high heels. High heels are so hard for her to wear. She says, I can't do it anymore. Obviously, she's not a big fan of wearing high heels. Who is? Really? Let's be real. That's why I wear wedges if I can, or a thick heel. That's the queen for me. But she basically saying that we flew across the world many times over. We spent years challenging the rules, trying to figure out a shoe. And when I first saw this, I truly was like, is so excited. I don't know if you guys felt like this. I was like, what is the shoe going to look like? I'm dying to see what the shoe's going to look like. And it's about a shoe that doesn't squeeze your toes, but also feels cute. And it doesn't hurt, the ball of your foot and this and that. And when I tell you that when the ending of the video showed this, like, I thought to myself, no, we can't, they can't, no. So I need to know from you ladies. Also, I need to tell you guys, these shoes are in the high 300s, 400s, $500. They're tennis shoes with a heel on them. Would you wear them to a work event, like a party? No. Would you wear them to a sporting event? No. Well, where are you wearing them? How about you just get a cute pair of Sneex, right? You can do fancy ones like Golden Goose, or you can just do like Converse, Nikes. I have tons. That's all I wear. And then also get yourself a cute little wedge or a thick heel or no heel at all. What world are we living in where you have to wear a heel? I don't know. I just can't. I just can't. It's shocking. It's shocking. Now, apparently you guys said Crocs have a high heel. Actually, I heard Hannah Berner on her show talking about this with Paige, and she goes, Paige, I bet that you love them. And Paige says, there's absolutely no way that I love them. I haven't even seen them, but here they are. I'm going to show you guys them. Wow. These quite possibly, I don't know which one I would wear first. This has got to be a joke too. Are these cute? Am I missing the boat here? Are these Crocs cute and I just don't see it? Oh my God. Sonia likes them now. She said, at first, I first thought gross, but now I think they're growing on me. Watch in 3 months, I'm wearing Sneex. You guys, let's say it right here first. If I wear Sneex in 3 months, I am so sorry. And I'm so embarrassed. But I also said this about booties. Remember booties? That sounds really bad. Booties, like little mini boots that go up to your ankles, are a little bit higher than your ankles. When I first saw them, I was like, who the hell would wear these with like tight pants? I started to wear them all the time. Oh, you guys. All right. Well, rich people can do all kinds of crazy things. I love how Reese Witherspoon is like, those shoes are a home run about Sneex. I would like to see Reese Witherspoon go down a red carpet with Sneex. When I start seeing them on the celebrities, that's when we know that like we're all living in a parallel universe. Like this is not normal life. All right, I'm going to go to my morning workout in them. Beth is asking me to go to F45 in them. I will. Well, you guys have to buy them for me because I can't spend that money on shoes. I just can't. I can't spend that money on any shoe, but definitely not Sneex. I don't think I've ever bought any shoe for over $300 ever in my life. Have you? I don't buy Christian Louboutins. Even my wedding shoes were like $100. All right, you guys. Like we're going to all end up at DSW buying Sneex in 2 weeks. If we have an event, if we have a misophonia dosers event, we're all coming in Sneex. Okay? Promise? All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let's watch Real Housewives of OC tonight and talk shit about it all tomorrow. And let's hope we don't have the anger and the intensement in the comments today. Woo! People got really heated by Shannon and Alexis. I'm still Team Shannon. Okay, you guys. Please subscribe. Make sure to tell your friends. Put out a flyer. Let your friends know about D-Dod, Daily Dose of Donna, 5-star review, rating, all of the things. I love you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.